One word means both. مسؤول. مسؤولية. مسؤولية, you are carrying the obligation to do a task and you are answerable to someone. Right? So that's what it means. In English, when you say responsible, does not necessarily mean accountable. Right? It doesn't mean that. When I say you are responsible, I give you responsibility to make sure that the desk is here and the camera is rolling and everything. Right? So I say the Masjid responsibility is to do that. Just give you an example. The brother Iqbal make announcement, inshallah we'll have a lecture and all of that. And the Masjid, the responsibility is to offer me this desk, this mic, the camera, and announce. That's a responsibility, right? Who's accountable? That's different. One difference is responsibility can be delegated, but accountability cannot be delegated. And you can ask somebody else, go get a glass of water to Shaykh Mamdouh. I ask you, please go get me a bottle of water. You can ask another person to get me a bottle of water, and he asks another person to get a bottle of water, and I might not get the bottle of water at the end. What makes the bottle of water comes? Accountability. Right? Normally, those who are accountable are the leaders. Sometimes when a company fails, the CEO is the one who's crucified. They bring the CEO, they bring the president, the Khalifa, the person, he's the one accountable. Okay? So that is, in Arabic or in Islam, it is one concept means both. But when you speak in English, it's different. Right? So whenever you even Google, they will tell you responsibility is different from accountability. But both of them are a conscious effort, a conscious choice. You make a choice to be responsible and to be accountable. Responsibility is to make sure that you understand and you will do the obligation, the task. Accountability is you answer to someone else about it. So I tell you, brother, take care of this, and I leave. I just told you, shit. But if I tell you, you are accountable to me that this is done, make sure. في العربي I tell you أنت مسؤول. أنت مسؤول عند الله. شفت? I left you with accountability right there. I assigned you a task and I tell you, you are also responsible. You heard about the bottle of water? So he makes sure he brings it himself. Yeah. Inshallah, we'll talk about this concept, how the concept is understood, and we relate it to our Quran and Sunnah. And then I'll get to the end of how we live here today, inshallah, tonight, with some sense of actionable items. How about that? Good? Actionable items? Like we have an item to work on it, inshallah, to learn this beautiful concept of مسؤولية. The problem with responsibility, people run away from it. Why people do not want responsibility? Can anybody tell me? Forget about accountability for a minute. Yes, because it is always coming to blame and guilt. They themselves feel that maybe I cannot do it, right? So they avoid. What else? Fear. What else? Why wouldn't you carry a responsibility?
Maybe they cannot do it. Ability.
Ability. They are doubting their own ability?
No, they might not be able to perform that task which you have given.
Might. You said might, huh? But haven't tried, right? What causes that?
I think this goes to your grown-up also. In your family, if your father, mother are mashallah alive, and they never paid attention to this kind of thing, then when you grow up, you are kind of a semi-dead, right?
So basically you are saying it is the upbringing.
Part that goes to connected to.
That's a very good point, by the way. You heard the brother? You have a personal fear of carrying responsibility that you are afraid to fail. Someone will blame you. I might not be able to do it and guilty. But what causes all of that fear? Of something that you actually didn't do. You know, like if you carried responsibility and failed, you understand. I did this and I failed, so I can correct it, or I'm not going to do it again, something like that. But you didn't. It's just about any responsibility. Anybody coming to tell you, brother, can you do Sheikh, I don't know, I'm sorry, I can. Why did you do that? Is the upbringing. You see now? Is the upbringing. Overprotective of our children. Spoiling them so much. You do not make them responsible. Responsibility comes before accountability. You assign them. You know, you tell your child, you have to make your room. You have to make your bed. Bring your laundry down. Now many mothers will say, Sheikh, why you make it hard for them? I want to do everything. I know you can do everything. I know that. But you're going to have a 20, 25-year-old baby who can't carry any responsibility. Forget about accountability. Accountability بعيدة شوية. That's very far for him. Right? So that is why kids don't pray, they don't fast, because these things are responsibility. Now it makes sense to you, right? Teaches responsibility from young age. So you're going to do wudu. That's a responsibility. There's no accountability. It's between you and, just this is a wudu you have to do with salah. When you are 7 years old, teach them responsibility about their own hygiene. You teach them how to clean themselves. Why do we potty train the kids? That's responsibility. صح? You're teaching them to be responsible of themselves. But unfortunately, we just do few things, but we don't go more. Imagine if you keep giving our children one responsibility after the other. Let them fail. Let them mess up. You keep fixing it and fixing it and fixing it. When they are 15 and 16, subhanallah, they are someone that you can count on. You see? Someone you can count on, and they can come and tell you, I'll take care of it. I'll come report to you. You will not be disappointed. That's accountability right there. See? They take responsibility. They said, oh, he stepped up. He took responsibility. So that fear comes because the upbringing. So that is a responsibility. The accountability, the acknowledgement of responsibility. So accountability comes later, knowing that I'm responsible. You can tell the child, hey, clean your room. That is a responsibility. Okay? But clean your room so this can happen. If you don't clean your room, this will not happen. And I'm going to check with you after I come back from the masjid. That's accountability now. He agrees, he recognizes the importance of the responsibility. She agrees, she recognizes the importance of the responsibility. You want a bigger example? Do you want a bigger example? Marriage. Marriage. An adult now who was not trained like this when they were young. A boy and a girl entering marriage. They know marriage is a responsibility. But what's going to happen if they don't carry the responsibility? They don't know. So she acts in a certain way, he acts in a certain way. They never were accountable before. They don't recognize the responsibility. Shaft? You see what I'm saying? It's kind of like, it's very interesting. We do not know what we are doing to these kids. We can be building leaders and we can be destroying lives. And I'm very open about this. Little tiny things. You eat in your plate, take your plate to the sink. Bring your laundry to the laundry machine. That's a responsibility. But mom will do it. He just delegated the responsibility right there. And once you delegate responsibility, somebody will do it. No accountability. Okay? So that's the problem now. And when they grow up, this socks spread all over, toys spread all over, divorce will happen. It's the same thing. It goes like a pattern. في علاقته مع Allah, relationship with Allah, no responsibility, no accountability. Relationship with people, no responsibility, no accountability. Relationship with family, no responsibility, no accountability. When you have a husband and wife, they don't have it. Of course, a father and a mother will not have it. Children will not have it. There's a big mess. That's what you see around. You see in this country, single mom, single dad, children. This is the thing. You go to any school, divorced parents, children, but their own. That's it. They assume responsibility, but there is no recognition of it. There is no accountability for it. That is why the deen of Islam is a ahd between you and Allah of accountability. You see, I'm connecting things together. What is the first pillar of Islam? What is it? Shahada. Say it. What is the first pillar of Islam? So nobody enters Islam except saying what? Shahada. What is Shahada? What does that mean? You just sign acknowledgement, right, of your responsibility. It's not just a word. Oh, I'm a Muslim, I'm responsible to pray 5 times a day, like that, responsible. La. You're saying ashhadu. You know what ashhadu means? I see it. You go testify in the court, you say ashhadu, I'm shahid. In Arabic, shahida يعني رأى بعينه. شهد يعني ايه فمن شهد منكم الشهر فليصم يعني whoever lives it, whoever experiences it. Do you see Allah? You don't see Allah with your eyes, but you say I believe so much to the point that as if I am seeing beyond doubt that there is no one worthy of worship but Him. That's a commitment right there. You acknowledge you do responsibility to who? To Allah. And everything comes after that. You are responsible and accountable. That's a signature of accountability. وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. Every adhan we say it, every salah we say it, you raise your finger like this. Every day, responsible, accountable, every single day. شفت? You see how things are twisted now? Everybody now is thinking, what? I didn't look at it like that before. Yeah? And that's why the Prophet said, teach them when they are 7. So they learn responsibility and accountability before they even know the meaning of the word. So when they grow up, it is easy. I am already responsible, already accountable. When you say accountable, yeah, I'm doing that. My father already raised me like this. Okay, my mom was already like, I'm doing that. Different. Yeah, it's different when they grow up. That's why when you find a child who's hafiz of the Quran, it's different from other children. Lots of people come and say, Shaykh, what is the point of making hifz without understanding, all of this kind of thing? Just step aside. I'm sorry. Anybody who's going to tell me like that, I said, you don't want to do hifz? Just step aside. Let them. You do not know the hundreds of benefits of that. Even if he does not understand what he is reciting. He's learning the patterns. He's having the ayat of the Quran in his head. His memory is very sharp. He's reciting the words of Allah. Khalas, ya akhi. Maybe someone will listen to him who understands. That's okay. But that person is learning responsibility and accountability. Because he has to maintain his hifz. Do you know that? You know that a hafiz for the rest of his life, he has to have a portion to recite every day? Put the understanding aside. But to keep what the gift that Allah gave him, to keep it, they have to do what? Recite every day. Otherwise they will lose it. So that recognition is accountability. He knows that he's accountable to Allah Azza wa Jal. So don't talk to me about understanding or not understanding. And I can count you tens of things that benefit that hafiz. And he has a benefit to that community. And there is another copy of the Quran, of the preservation task that Allah promised, he's carrying. He's carrying that person. Allah chose, He said, you have the copy of my words in your head and your heart. That's okay. Right. But it is not like the server thing. He's a human being, right? So don't put it like, oh, another server, another copy. And that's not what I'm trying to say. No, 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 no. Allah gives takreem to the human being. Right. And he is a human being who carrying the words that Allah spoke, subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's enough honor for him. He's not carrying any copy of anything. Kalam of Allah. The kalam of Allah Azza wa Jalla. So responsibility and accountability. طيب. What are the things included in the accountability so we can work on it? Have to work on it. How can I become accountable? Allah Azza wa Jalla says in the Quran, وَقُلْ اعْمَلُوا وَقُلْ اعْمَلُوا. Say, O Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, to them, اعْمَلوا. He did not say, قُولُوا آمَنَّا. Or there's an ayah, said, قُولُوا آمَنَّا. Say, we believe in all that. When it comes to believe, Allah said, when it comes to the responsibility, Allah said, اعْمَلُوا. That is the responsibility part, right? اعْمَل. Do such and such and such. فسيرى الله عملكم ورسوله والمؤمنون ثم تردون إلى عالم الغيب والشهادة فينبئكم بما كنتم تعملون. That's the accountability part. And Allah, His Rasul, and the believers will see your amal, its impact, its effect, its good or bad, this and that, and then you will be rewarded or punished on it in Yawm al-Qiyamah. That's the accountability part. You recognize that? You recognize? Well, you are accountable now. That's why Rasulullah said, every one of you is a shepherd. That is the responsibility part. وَكُلُّكُمْ مَسْئُولٌ عَنْ رَعْيَتِهِ. That is the accountability part. When you go in the deen, you will find like this. You will find like that. Salah, you have aqimu salah. That is the responsibility part. But the accountability part, Rasulullah said, someone praying and his salah is not accepted. You have to pray like calmly. You know? You have to do such and such, and whoever comes to the prayer and they do this will get that reward. That's the accountability part. Now we are going to recognize the responsibility and do it the right way. How you become accountable? You say, Shaykh, how can I understand that I'm accountable? You have to accept. Acceptance is the first condition of accountability. You will not be accountable unless you are accepting it. If I give you something and you are doing it against your will, the first chance to run away from it, you run away from it. So you are not accountable. صح? You have to accept. You have to accept. What does it mean? Consenting to receive or undertake something offered. You have to consent. Okay, I'll do it.
I have a question now. If you say something to me to do that, and I start, and then I feel that I'm overloaded now.
Yeah. You can say I cannot do it.
But I don't have strength to say that to me because to you, because I am like 20 years old. Let's say this, and you are mashallah, my share. So sometimes with respect, I can may end up messing a lot of things.
But that's not right.
That's
That's not right. That's you are now not fulfilling your responsibility to Allah as a Muslim. For me. No, you cannot do that. It's either you can do it or you cannot do it. Sahaba of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, he knows every Sahabi's capacity, and every Sahabi knows his capacity. You have to say that I cannot do it. I quit. I cannot do it now anymore. But don't deceive yourself and deceive the person and continue out of embarrassment.
if I raise my hand, but still you as a sheikh is not listening to me, you are getting angry, and then I will eventually end up running. I will run away.
Sure.
This is what happens.
Yeah.
I'm sorry for interruption.
No. You're okay. You're okay. But we are talking about responsibility.
Yeah, it's part of responsibility. Like you say to me something, I took it, with my emotions strong, because I'm very young. But eventually, I feel that I'm loaded. Now, even I express my feelings to you few times, but you never pay attention because you always, like angry. And because I am a kid, I don't know. And eventually, I end up.
But that's what happened with most of the kids, actually. That's what happens. Like parents are angry and they're dealing with them as if they are older people, as if they are adults. So they become frustrated, and the kids become frustrated. They don't complain to the parents anymore. They don't ask for their advice anymore, and they go on their own. So basically, it's a mutual thing. You know, one who is inexperienced, right, and acting on their impulse, and one who is experienced and does not have patience. You see? So that's what we are trying to do. But that's another story, yani. This is another subject. We are defining now that responsibility. So is it my responsibility to listen to you at all times or not? Is it your responsibility to ask without permission or not? So that's what we're talking about today, right? So we have to define first what, yes? Yeah, but again, my brother, when you say like that, you assume that your child already understands your logic. You know what I mean? When you said we need to teach our children such and such. Don't assume that the children already know it. You have to have long way to teach them that concept from young age. So what I'm saying is like sometimes me and you and everybody, and we are open now to discuss, right? We assume like my 6-year-old or my 12-year-old and my 20-year-old, they are all the same. And that's a big mistake. That's a big problem. Like, you know, when my child, I tell him to do something, he said, but I don't like it. I don't want to do it. And then he said, no, you have to do it because I told you. Now, what am I teaching him? You know, what am I teaching him? Now, instruction itself has to be understood. Like when I tell you, the child, when you say something, you have to mean it. What does that even mean? He asks you, what does it mean? What do you mean? And he will shake his head like this, but he doesn't know what you actually mean. What you actually mean it. What is that? So you have to give him some tangible thing. Is it your intention to do that? So when he speaks next time, said, Baba, I wanted to do that. I said, you're really going to do that? I said, no. I said, that means you don't mean it. So next time, you have to match your intention exactly with what you're saying. Now, next time when you tell him you have to mean what you say, he gets it. I hope I'm clear. Yes. So sometimes most of the parents who come to me and the children who come to me, they never had that understanding. Parents just put the rules and assume that, I'm telling you from my experience, that I'm not saying you, but I'm saying from my experience, mostly it's a communication problem. Assumption. It's assumption. You know, one of my older children telling my younger children, my younger child, why are you crying? Oh, you're crying so Baba can do whatever you want. You see? I said, no, don't do that. Don't tell him that. He's just 6-year-old. You may do that. You may be doing that actually. But he doesn't get this. Let him cry. Let him get my sympathy. That's all right. It's not like he said, I'm going to cry now to get my dad. This is not what 6-year-olds doing, That's what you're doing as a 20-year-old. That's what you do. But that child is not doing that. Now let me talk to them. I tell them, you know what? You can get everything without crying. You see? I'm saying the same thing, by the way. I'm saying the same thing. But give it to me. You can be actually laughing. If you laugh, I'll give you double. Yeah, just like that. You can do things without. So now they do not associate crying with getting something. And I get the point. They get the point, but not like that. So most of the parents here in our time, forget American or Arab or this, everybody has that mistake. That, because of all the stress and all the issues that they have and all the responsibilities that they are carrying, they come on the children, on their spouses, on their neighbors, on their people, on their employees, as if they are supposed to be reading your mind at all times. I come like this, you have to download everything in my head. Like, Like, why you are not doing the things that makes me happy? The wife or the husband. They're expecting, without me talking, I already downloaded my ideas to you. You're supposed to do such and such. So why are you, honey, why are you sad? Oh, because when I come, you did not welcome me. How do I know that you need that today? How do I know that? Oh, your dinner today, you didn't say anything. You did not tell me that this is what you like. You want a hug? Say, I need a hug. إيه المشكلة يعني? What's the problem? I'm serious. Like, if you need a hug, why don't say to your wife, I need a hug? Or she says, I need a hug. I really need a hug. أنا عايز أعرف إيه المشكلة في كده يعني. What is the big problem? You need a hug, and they did not give you a hug, and you are unhappy because they did not hug you. How would they know يعني? How would they even know? No, you have to read the mind. Because tomorrow they come give you a hug, but you do not want a hug today. Not today. So just say, these things. But anyways, back to our topic. So accept. You have to accept, you have to consent. So that's why when you say, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, you already consented. Right? You consented. That is why when you hear the adhan, based on that consent, what should you do? What's your responsibility? You listen and repeat. And then you do wudu and salah. That is carrying the responsibility, correct? Carrying responsibility. What would make you do this salah in a special quality? Accountability. Allah is looking at it. Yeah? So you accepted the responsibility. Number 2, obligation. You accept that it is binding, power of the promise. When you promise something, you got to fulfill it. When you promise something, you got to fulfill it. A woman or a man, I think a woman, at the time of the Prophet ﷺ, she asked her child, come here or do something, I'll give you a date. Huh? I'll give you a date. And he came and she gave him a date. The Prophet ﷺ said, if you didn't do it, he would have counted a lie on you. So accountability in our life comes by accepting that you are responsible. That's number 1. Number 2, whatever comes from your mouth as a promise is binding. So don't promise, as you say. If you have to say, you mean it, right? When you say, promise. Kids, by their fitrah, they are better than us in that. You agree or not? You agree? How many times, I'm sorry to say this example, but it hurts me every time I say it. Yani. Whenever the kid said, Dad, can we go to have some ice cream? You say, Inshallah. What is the response? No. But when? But when? You said, tomorrow, inshallah. I said, what time? So, yeah, because the word inshallah, we trained them that it doesn't mean anything. Even though actually that word is more emphasis on the promise. Yani meaning, if there is nothing beyond my control, and Allah wills it, it's going to happen for sure. That is the meaning of inshallah. But when inshallah means maybe, you say inshallah to get out of the promise. Yes? Yeah? Am I exaggerating, اخواني? Am I exaggerating? لا. يعني واحد يقول inshallah, 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 inshallah. ايه بقى ده? What is that? I hear this all the time in the culture. يعني في Egyptian culture في كده. يقول لك يا عم خلاص بقى ان شاء الله. ان شاء الله. يعني ان شاء الله يعني don't give me headache. Maybe. إن شاء الله يعني علقتها على المشيئة. يعني you said I will do it no matter what except if Allah wills otherwise. That's what you're saying. You understand the meaning of inshallah? يعني inshallah means I am committed as long as Allah wills it. يعني means it will, if it doesn't happen, means Allah did not want it to happen. But I did everything I can. I hope you understand the word inshallah, what it means. What we said, maybe. Yani inshallah, Mashiach of Allah is something and my intention is something else. I don't want to do it, but if Allah make it happen, it will happen, man. Maybe. La, la, la. But that's why obligation means binding power of your promises. That's why the kids said, but you promised. Correct? When you come and say, today, not today, said, but you promised. And they keep repeating that word. Man, it's like a dagger in your heart. I'm serious? So you better not promise. You say, tomorrow we may do. Okay? If I have time. If I come from work and I'm okay, I'll take you. You see? Now you are actually promising within your means, without getting expectation from others, because you'll be accountable. فَسَيَرَى اللَّهُ عَمَلَكُمْ وَرَسُولُهُ الْمُؤْمِنُونَ. Allah will see, Rasul will see, believers will see. Because you could be promising and breaking, promising and breaking. You are not a dependable person. I will not assign you to any responsibility. Every time you say, I will come, I'll come, I'll come, I'll come. Like that. So it's not good. Type. What is the third component of accountability? We talked about acceptance, accepting, obligation, the binding power of the promise. Ownership is yours. This is mine. You know, I need to do it. I need to prove myself. It's something good for me. So you have to take responsibility for an idea or a problem. Say, it's me. It's all me. You know, I am the reason. That's why, for example, when people come for divorce, they divorce. What is each one's approach toward the other? There is a husband and wife, they divorced, and it was a messy divorce. Let's say, not an amicable divorce. And by the way, amicable divorce in the community is like 10%, 90% messy ones.
They never thought about the ownership.
No, I'm saying, what is the approach? The approach toward each other. Like how do they address each other? How do they talk about each other? Pointing finger, right? Each one is trying to do what? Each one is trying to prove to everybody what exactly? It's not my problem, right? It's not my mistake. Am I right? It's hers. It's his. And you find the community, mashallah, you know, like all the sisters, it is the brothers, and all the brothers, it is the women's. Polarized. As if one is an angel and one is a shaitan. But does that make sense actually? In your logic, does it make sense like that? Any relationship, there is no way somebody is always right and somebody is always wrong. مش ممكن. There is no way. There has to be something. Actually, the concept, the idea itself that you were married all this time with someone who's causing you these issues, that means you are also mistaken. You did not get out of that relationship earlier. So you always also carry a responsibility. You know what I mean? So it doesn't matter even if the other person was the aggressor. Right? You allowed it. You lived it. You lived through it. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm saying own it. Like marriage, it takes two. Also divorce takes what? Two. Everyone participates. Even with one act. It's like dominoes effect. A man can be making a mistake and the woman is doing the divorce 20 years later because of that mistake from day one. That he did one mistake. And vice versa. You see? She is doing something and he's quiet. He's not fixing it. And escalating until he could not take it anymore. Yeah? So it appears what? That the woman is the bad one. And he's the one divorcing her. But what did he do actually? He let this happen. He did not fix it on early time. So you have to own that. You have to say, I am also responsible. Huh? No, but that's okay. Now he knows. Now he knows. He has to say that. What you just said. You understand? Don't make excuse to get out of it. Say, I did not know. I was a jahil. What you just said now. Maybe he didn't know. Oh, yeah, I did not know. Now I know. I was a jahil. I should have known. But no way around it. You gotta own it. I am laid off from the job. It must have been something. But everybody accuses the company. Everybody accuses the economy. Everybody accuses blah, 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 right? Own something. Because if you own it, you're going to fix yourself and make yourself better. Even if you were transgressed. Even if you were transgressed, you say, why was I transgressed? Why other people are not transgressed like me? I'm not saying you feel guilty. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm not saying that. I am saying that you have to own it. Own it. Say that, there is part of me I have to improve to avoid this in the future. ايه المشكلة في كده يعني؟ Alright, people transgressed me. I was not doing anything wrong. Maybe because I was underqualified. I'm going to do master degree. I'm going to do such and such. I went through a messy divorce. Oh, because my spouse was transgressing, da. Okay, I'm going to build myself now, and I'm going to become a strong person with Allah Azza wa Jalla, with the community, and I'll prove to myself that I can be a dependable person, and I'll succeed. I'll become a good father or a good mother, even if I failed as a husband or a wife. That's called what? Ownership. You have to own it. I'm not saying, again, I'm emphasizing, because we associate right and wrong. I'm not associating right and wrong. You own it. You have to own it. Own the issue. طيب, answerability. You have to be able to explain the actions. Don't be offended. And when somebody comes and says, why did you do that? I say, oh, I didn't know. That's good. Say, I didn't know. Now I'm going to tell you, you should know, so next time you don't do that. So we are behind us. Very simple. But
this guy, if he acknowledges it, right? I made a mistake, I will fix it. Now this person is surrounded by his halqa. Intentionally or unintentionally, if he talk to someone, he will reverse, his thought. Because the whole environment is like that people even don't want, oh, you know what, you are right. Why? Who told you that you are wrong? These things also happen. The person who say that I am wrong, but his friends or his, surrounding, if he discuss anything to any of those people, they will reverse his thought.
no, but then he has a wrong companionship around him. Then his responsibility is to change that.
This also counts, like you said.
I understand that.
They say, oh,
but this is a good point here. In our deen, is haqq defined by people or people defined by haqq? Answer.
No, go ahead.
Is people defined by haqq, like we have haqq, and whoever doing it is right? Or by how many people they say that it becomes truth or false?
No, the first option, I'll go with.
Okay, but you assumed already that because everybody around me is telling me, that means I'm going to have a problem. No, you have to know as a Muslim from your Quran, from your Sunnah, from your scholars, from everybody, what is right and what is wrong. Even if everybody is doing wrong, it does not make it right. So if you say that I did wrong, I did not wake up for Fajr today, I was wrong. But everybody said, come on man, that's all right. It's all right. Everybody's tired. You work night shift. It is very hard for you. Yes? Does that make it right though?
You have enough.
No, but
You should be strong enough.
thank you. You already answered. You already answered it. You already answered your issue. So you have to have that. Brother, see the difference between self-accountability and trying to justify is a very fine line. It's a very, very fine line, Like, when I say that I'm accountable, I'm not right and all of that, and then you can say at the same time, but everybody's doing it, like, what should I do? I'm one person, I'm weak, and everybody around. It's a very fine line. So, but once you know you are accountable, I'm not saying go advertise in the whole world that you're wrong. La, own it with yourself. Fix it. Own it and fix it. In the khutbah today, I was telling people that, are we responsible to what is happening in Palestine and Gaza? Okay. Then what do you want to do about it? Comes the next question. Everybody have one certain idea in their head. If this is not done, then I cannot do anything else. صح? And there's another mushkil. This is a bigger mushkil. But have you asked about yourself, how can I own this on my personal level? What can I do? Right? I tell people, if you are not able to wake up for Fajr and get in your AC and heated car to come to the masjid, how are you going to make jihad fi sabilillah? إزاي يعني? كيف? You cannot get out of your room in the morning and come pray Fajr, because if you pray Fajr, your work is like still 1.5 hours later, or your work is very hard, you know. So I'd rather. How many of us actually fix the alarm to wake up 15 minutes before the adhan of Fajr? Put the alarm like this. لا بلاش 1 hour يعني خليها 15 minutes. 15 minutes before adhan of the Fajr. But what is this going to do with Gaza, Sheikh? Wallah, it has everything to do with it. Because if you have a jama'ah who comes to the Fajr and fill the masjid, all over, this wouldn't have happened to anybody. Because everybody will look at the ummah of Islam. This is an ummah who can come together like this. It cannot touch. It has everything to do with it. You know? How many of us came and took our children and say, I am going to have a 2-hour crash course about the history of Masjid al-Aqsa? These children. So 5-6 years from now, you have all the Muslim children of Muslims in the West. They know the history of that place. You could not preach it. You don't have to start from scratch teaching people about other things. No, you have a whole generation who understands exactly what it is. So they go to the next step. So what I'm trying to say is, you are responsible, you are accountable, and then you have to know that you are answerable to Allah Azza wa Jalla. He will ask you, what did you do to help these people? At least you say, I made dua. At least say, Allah, I made people aware. I talked about it. I talked about it. Why you think all of these people, they are now crazy about universities and defund this and do this, and why? Because it works. Right? Your stance and say, this is haram, this is zulm, this is transgression, is powerful. It's powerful. Because I feel accountable. I feel answerable to Allah Azza wa Jalla. Right? So I am going to do whatever in my capacity, I'm going to do it. Yeah? Even if it's little bit. But little with you, little with him, little with him, little with him, it becomes a lot. You know, now you're talking about like, okay, all this Ivy League, we're going to defund. Defund why? Because the students said no transgression. What's this? That's power. You know, someone in the Fox News saying, yeah, when you take the money, money talks. You will see all these students coming back and, you know, fixing their speech and all of that. Are we in America? For God's sake? Really? Really? Am I hearing this? Wallah, I would never imagine in my wildest dreams I will hear somebody like saying this one day. فين freedom of speech وjustice وكل واحد يقول اللي عايزه? Where is that? But now you know the power, huh? Now you know the power of your word. Now you know the power of the coffee. You know the power. You know what I'm talking about? You know the power of the sandwich, McDonald's? Very powerful. I'm serious, wallah, I'm serious. It is powerful. It is powerful. These things are like, man, oh man, worse than bullets. I'm telling you, that actually money talks. Really, really, this is the case. So be feeling that you accept responsibility, you have obligation, the binding power of the promise, you own it, and you are answerable to Allah Azza wa Jalla, and you are answerable to the leaders, you are answerable to the community, you are answerable to the transgressed. They're going to come Yawm al-Qiyamah and say, why you didn't help me? You are answerable. Then, choice. Accountability also, you have to have a choice. You back off, like we said, I can't do it anymore. Maybe you're right. Maybe you're just escaping, I don't know. But you have to make a decision when you're faced with 2 or more possibilities. That's called for accountability, you know. I'm going to make a choice and I'm going to be accountable. But everybody hides because they're scared of that part. Right? Scared of that part. Sheikh, whenever I'm having that, what should I do now? This two choices. Sometimes the choice is hard. Sometimes the choice means your life. Sometimes the choice means imprisonment. Sometimes the choice means loss of job. Yeah? Are you accountable to your family to pay the bills and feed them? Or you are accountable to Allah that you are eating haram or doing which one? Yes? So there are two choices. Correct? I am responsible to take care of my family. But now I have a haram river of money coming. And the halal drops. There is a choice. What makes you accountable? Making that choice. See? Making that choice. When? Yes. Yes. And then your commitment. You have to agree on the responsibility and make the commitment. Those make you accountable. Everybody can carry responsibility, but not everybody is accountable. Let me repeat them again. Right? Acceptance. You have to consent. That I know, I accept. You assign me, I accept. Obligation. I promised you now that I accept, I'll do it. It's binding. You accept it, right? You accept it and you promise to carry it. Okay? Then you own the responsibility. Till the end. I have ownership. Alright? And then answerability. I'm ready to answer. Choice. I'm going to make the choice when I am faced with two things. And I'm going to be responsible about it. And commitment. I'm emotionally compelled to an agreement or responsibilities. In Islam, when Allah sent the Prophet or a messenger, why you think the Prophet went all the way even being killed sometime? Because they know the level of responsibility Allah assigned them. They accepted it. They acted according to it. And they told their people, I'm not taking any money from you. I'm doing it for Allah. I'm answering to Him, not to you. لا أسألكم عليه أجرا إن أجري إلا على الله. My people, we are going to go stand in front of Him one day. You see, teaching accountability 101. 101. Now, I hope I instigated some thinking in you. And this is what I'm intending. Yani. I'm not intending that I give you a bunch of information and you go and memorize it. That's not my idea here. My idea in all my sessions, if you are already noticed by now, that I always trigger thoughts, make the mind overwhelmed, shocked, overwhelmed, so you start fixing things in your life. That's the whole idea of my approach. Yeah. So now we come to certain things to be responsible. I want you to raise your hand about something in your life that you feel responsible about, and you make a commitment tonight that inshallah Rabbil Alameen you want to be accountable. Just not putting anybody in the spot. Yani. Like I told myself, for example, I told myself that since I moved close to the masjid, I have to do as many jama'ahs in the masjid as I can. And I have to benefit my community from my presence. That's a responsibility I carried upon myself. And I'm accountable to Allah, and I'm sharing it with you right now. You see the power of this? I own it. Why? Because before I used to drive long time, so I finish, I go, I'm excused. Right? But now if I'm very comfortable. When I come to the masjid, I owe it. This is a responsibility upon me, and I become accountable to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Can each one of us find something in your head? If you want to share it, that's fine. It can be something little or it can be something big, or it doesn't matter. But I want you to hear yourself saying it. It doesn't have to be with ibadah or anything like that. Please. Mm-hmm.
So I feel like, what should I do? Am I going to be accountable because I'm
Very good point and question. It will be true if you have a choice. If you are willingly giving, donating, or giving this money while you are giving the tax, you said, oh yeah, I should pay that tax because I will hurt these people. But that's not the case here. The case is whoever taking it from you, the reason of paying the taxes is not to be used against the people of Gaza. That's the original default rule. I'm not defending anybody here of collecting the tax. Forget about tax haram or halal, this is not what I'm talking about. But any country collecting tax from people, what is the default? Is to go back and benefit the society, right? So that's the default. That's what you have been promised. Yes? They're accountable to that. Yani the country, the government that we chose told us, give me the tax, I benefit you back. Am I right? Yes? Now they're breaking their promise. Why am I responsible for it? I hope you understand. Yani. I get it. I understand. I understand. Do you have a choice not to pay the tax? Here you go. That's what I'm saying. If you have a choice not to pay the tax and not to not to suffer legal repercussions, then don't pay the tax. But since there is legal repercussions, they are obligated to pay the tax for a default reason, which is good, assumed to be good. But then the one who has that amana, I'm not talking Muslim or non-Muslim now, the one who took that responsibility and promised you that I take this tax money and it benefits you, but they are allocating it for something else, they are responsible, not you. I hope you understand now. But if you try to legally decrease your taxes by spending more business expenses in a way that the tax becomes less, you should do that. That's the legal way to do it, right? If you are a business owner, yeah. So you try to do other things so your tax is less than what it should legally. I'm not advocating anything to be Sheikh saying evade the tax. Yeah. No. Business owners know what I'm talking about. Anybody else wants to say that? Because the year of 2024, inshallah, we're trying to make this year for training and projects in the masjid. So anybody wants to do a project, please come talk to me and we'll make it happen as long as members of the community benefit. Those members can be your own family, can be your circle of friends, can be employees in your company, can be your neighbors, you name it. Anything. Just name something interesting to you. Even social, right? Say, Sheikh, I'm going to do this year. There are 5 neighbors of mine. I am going to establish some social activity where I show them the beauty of Islam indirectly. Something like that. And I'm just suggesting, indirectly. Some people, for example, said that, now people know that, as Muslims, we fast Ramadan, we do this, we do that. Yeah, fine. I am going to talk to one person about Islam. That's a project. It is a project, by the way. Don't belittle that one. It's not one session, Sometimes you have a strategy, right? You talk to someone slowly. I am going to teach 10 kids how to read Quran. قاعدة ألف باء تاء. I am going to teach 3 new Muslims the wudu and the salah. مثلا. Even brother Hisham did that already, but you try to do something. I am going to find a senior man or woman in the community who's not able to, not mobile, right? I'm going to help them with their groceries or take them to the park once a month. That's a project. Don't you think? Yeah? I am going, inshallah, once a month to go visit a sick person in the hospital. And let's do it. I don't want you to do it individually only. Now, come with the idea to the masjid. Why? Because masjid has a jama'ah. You can't be alone. Sometimes maybe someone interested in the same idea. So you can make a group. Simple group. It doesn't have to be formal, under IGH masjid. Forget about that. That's not what I'm talking about here. What I'm talking about is every member, regular member of the masjid doing 2 things. One, they are sharpening their own skill, right? Sharpening their own skill and bringing someone else closer. Yeah? So you are benefiting someone. You are not alone. I come pray, inshallah, by the end of the year, I have 3 more people who did not come to the masjid, they come because of me, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. 3. عندك 12 months. 12 months. You work on them until you bring them to the masjid. Once a week even. Success. Isn't it a success? Success story. Okay? I am going to start a program. We are going to make Monday, Thursday fasting group. Well, I'm throwing ideas at you. But I am giving ideas. There is no responsibility or accountability on my side now. But the minute you commit for it, you become responsible and accountable. Can we do that, inshallah? Don't take more than you can chew. Right? Take the least you can do. See, I'm advising you. I'm giving you the advice. عارف الحاجة اللي تعملها وهي سهلة يعني pick the thing that you do while you are closing your eyes. Start with that. Don't make it hard for yourself in the dreamland. I am going to move a mountain. Say, you know what? I'm going to bring 1 rock from here and put it here. But that's nothing. Yeah, 1 rock today, 1 rock tomorrow. At the end of the year, 360 rocks. You made a pile already. Huh? Half of the mountain. صحيح. So start slow. I hope, inshallah, I give you some ideas tonight. All right? Go home and look at your family and see your responsibilities and see your accountability level and start acting accordingly, inshallah. I told the people, own some responsibility. Own it. Some responsibility in your worship. Take it upon yourself that I'm going to do that. I'm going to recite the Quran every month. I'm going to recite the Quran every year. Whatever it is. Create some responsibility yourself. Create a sheet and follow. It can be a small thing. But be accountable. Own it. I'm going to sit after every salah for 3-4 minutes and I'm going to make dua. Alright? I'm going to sit after Fajr until Ishraq. Responsibility. I'm giving you the ibadah side. This changes your behavior. This changes your demeanor. Wallahi, it changes your life. I'm telling you, 1 action only. 1 action item. You will find that you start thinking like that. All the time. You start thinking like this. If I succeed in this one, I should own it. And you become responsible all the time. وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد والحمد لله. Huh? Allah barak fik. But we have to make it actionable item. So that's why I said at the end we have to leave tonight with some actionable item. I wanted you to speak, but since you don't want to speak, that's okay. I don't want to put you on the spot. But I throw many ideas on you. Social can be worship with Allah Azza wa Jalla, between you and Allah, between you and another person, between you and your spouse, between you and your children. But commit to something. Say, I am responsible about that. And hold yourself responsible. No way around it. I'm not going to go around it. Oh, I'm tired today, I'm not going to do it. No. You're going to do it. You owe it to yourself. You want to exercise every day. You're going to walk 45 minutes a day. Khalas. Shine or rain is going to happen. Okay? So commit, responsible, accountable to yourself. Accountable to yourself. I'm going to tell myself why you didn't do that. Shame on you. I have to do it. Okay? And then with others, between you and Allah, to yourself, your health, your education, your mental health, everything. With your family, with the community around you. But do something. Please, before Ramadan comes, you have some responsibility that you are holding it strong. Can we do that, inshallah? بإذن الله. جزاكم الله خيرا والحمد لله رب العالمين. شكرا جزيلا. الله يبارك فيكم. And I'm with you, يعني. Every day you're going to get bored of me now. You see me every day in the masjid.
Honestly, I always love your communication.
جزاك الله خير. الحمد لله.
The way you talk, you talk from the bottom of your heart.
Yes. I make Allah witness that this is the case.
And it is not easy to catch your words.
Right.
MashaAllah, I always love.
Alhamdulillah. جزاك الله خير for coming in. And being patient with me. Thank you.
Please, if I ask any question,
لا لا لا. Believe me, if I don't want to answer, I'll tell you later. I have the choice, I have the choice to tell you question later, this and that.
Yes, oh, okay, yes.
But if I answer you, that means I want to answer you. I'm not that guy who will be embarrassed to, no. If I can't answer you, I'll tell you not now. All right? Inshallah.